So in the last video, I told you that I had a new tank bag that I was testing out on my trip up to Burlington, Vermont and up into the Adirondacks near Lake Placid. Now that tank bag is this one. This is the Rev tank bag from Aerostich. So we're going to talk about that one today, but also I want to talk about two other tank bags that I've used over the years, and that's the ones that you see hanging over here on my gear wall, one from Moto and one from Giant Loop. And we're going to compare all the features of these different tank bags. Now, all of them are in the kind of same price range. They're right around that $300 mark. Both the Moto and the Giant Loop go for that $300 price range, and the Rev tank bag here from Aerostich comes in at $267. So again, right around the same price point. The Rev tank bag here is by far the simplest of these three bags that we're going to look at. It's basically just a big open space for you to put stuff in. And that of course has its pros and cons. This one can actually carry more than the other two bags, and we'll demonstrate that, right? But it also doesn't have places to put small items, right? You're gonna have to organize those yourself when you use this kind of bag. Now with that said, it does come with a few cool features. Let's go over those. So first of all, it does come with this big see-through map pocket, and of course that makes this waterproof. And it does come off, right? This whole thing can be removed with Velcro up here at the top. Also, getting into this bag is really easy, right? There's no Velcro here to stop you from getting in quickly, but it does Velcro at the bottom to keep it secure. Now the next thing that I really like is how you get in and out of this tank bag. This is different than any other bag that I've seen. Most of them have zippers, that go all the way around the top, but this one has a center zipper that allows you to really get in and out of this thing very easily. When I first got this, I wasn't sure that I was going to like that, but after using it on our current 4-day trip up to Vermont, again, this was really handy to get in and out of. Now, as I said, this is just a big empty space in here. Now, what I carried with me on this last trip were these things, right? I had my puffy down jacket, right? Just in case it got cold, and it usually did in the morning. I was able to fit that in. And then I had a rain layer, right? Wind block, rainproof layer that I've used, right? And again, I was able to put that in here very easily. And then I had my rain gloves. Again, and I could wrap those up, put those in here. And also I have the rain cover, and that's the one that goes over the entire tank bag. Right, so all of that fit in here very easily, actually with extra space to put a pair of glasses and a few other things for me. Another cool feature, again, I haven't seen on many other tank bags, in fact any, is that there have these Velcro strips, right, that go along the top of the bag. And what you can do with that is take something like a remote control for your cameras, and you can Velcro it there, or even your Easy Pass, right, and just Velcro it and keep it nice and secure while you're going through the tolls. So yeah, I think that's a really cool feature. Again, somebody like Andy Goldfine would think of, because he's a real rider. Now, one more thing you're going to find here is this little ram ball that is built into the bag. Again, when I first got this, I'm like, I guess that's a cool idea, but I'm not sure how much I would use that. So I guess what you could do is you could even mount something like a camera right here to the bag, right, like so. Right, and then you can probably get some pretty cool angles from an interesting perspective. You could also, again, mount other items. I don't know if I'd put my cell phone up there. It's going to be not so secure as, mounting it to the handlebars. So it's an interesting idea. Again, I don't know how many people will take advantage of that. I don't know how much I will take advantage of it either. But as I said, it is an interesting idea. So let me show you inside this bag how this little ram ball works. Right? There's a piece of aluminum here that is bolted to the side of the bag, right? And that is where the ram ball is attached, right? So it only works, right, if you have the bag full of stuff, right? So if you're going to put your camera or something on there with nothing in there, obviously it's going to flop around too much. So you got to have the bag full for that to really work. There's another feature that I wanted to show you that I really liked, right? This is the pad that comes on the bottom of the tank bag. And you can see it is Velcroed on, so it is removable, replaceable if it wears out, right? And this is really nice. I mean, it's nice thick material and soft material. And what I like about this is really nice material to help, you know, keep your tank from getting scratched up. Both of the other tank bags that I'm going to show you, they have a tendency to scratch up, you know, my tank a little bit when I have used it in the past. Again, and we'll show you the differences. Now let me show you how I mounted this bag to my bike. What this came with is a harness for the front. Again, I'll show you that in a second. But then it came with one big long strap that had two, you know, the buckles, you know, on either end. Now, I guess what this was supposed to do is kind of go up underneath the bike and wrap all the way around, but I really didn't like that idea. That seemed like it was going to be kind of a pain in the butt every time I stopped to take the tank off to fill up with gas, right? Because everything was going to fall down and then I had to get up and pull it up again. So I decided to do something differently. Now, this is the harness that came with the bag, and this worked great, right? It wrapped around the neck of my bike and then of course clips into the bag, right? And all I had to do was cut it for size and worked great. For the back, what I did was cannibalize a set of rock straps. I've got like 4 or 5 of them, so I wasn't gonna miss one. So what I did was I put the buckle, right, on the end of the long strap that comes with the rock straps, and it has of course, the loop on the back of it. That way I was able to go around each side of the frame down near where the passenger foot pegs are and then clip it into the bag, and I can tighten each side independently. When I stop for gas then, I just loosen the back, unclip the front, flop this back, right, and then put it back in place, clip it again, tighten down that rear again. Nothing's going to go away, nothing's going to have to be readjusted every time that I stop for gas. So that worked really well. Now, honestly, I have to do this pretty much on every tank bag I've ever had. I've had to figure out exactly how I was going to put it on my bike and make it work best. In fact, we're going to go over the Moscow Moto bag here in a second. And when I had the BMW K1600, I reached out to them and asked them if they had a harness that would work on the K1600. And they told me it was impossible to put that tank bag on a K1600. And I'm like, seriously? Impossible? Well, I have some strapping material, and in about a half an hour, I was able to figure out a way to do it, and I made my custom harness for the K1600. So again, if there's a will, there's a way, and with every one of these, I've had to modify it in some fashion. So one last thing I want to talk about with this bag and mounting is that you'll notice that there are 4 buckles in the back, and there are also 4 buckles in the front. So that's going to give you more versatility in the way that you mount this to your bike, right? But I didn't need to use all 4 of these. I just used the bottom 2, and then I folded these under like this. Same thing for the ones in the front. And there's one feature of this Aerostich Rev tank bag that I forgot. Here, let me show you. Now, that feature that the Rev tank bag comes with is this adjustable bungee cord. It hooks into a couple of little eyelets on both sides of the bag, and you can adjust it to hold things like your gloves. Now, that may seem like a real small thing, but those of us who travel all the time, go into gas stations, right, get your gas, and then you want to go in and use the restroom or buy some food, well, you need somewhere to put your gloves, right, so they don't end up on the ground. And come on, that's a real struggle. Now let's look at this second tank bag. This is the Moto Nomad tank bag. It's now been renamed to the Nomax. I'm not exactly sure why, maybe some trademark issues or something like that. But it's basically the same tank bag as far as I can tell, and again, it runs about $300. Now, I bought this particular tank bag back in 2019 to go on my 60th birthday trip, and the primary reason I got it is because it does accept a hydration bladder, right underneath here. You can slip a hydration bladder in here, and then on the side here there's a place to exit the hose, right? And then again, it makes it real easy to drink and stay hydrated while you're on the trip. And it does work very well. The one thing I can say is that it is a bit of a pain because you have to take the tank bag off every time you want to refill your hydration bladder. Again, take it out, fill it up, put it back in, and depending upon how much stuff you have in here, well, again, it can be a little bit of work. I learned that while I was on my trip. But overall, it worked very well. Now, the one thing about this tank bag that makes it really cool is that it has a lot of places to put stuff. The bad thing about it is it has a lot of places to put stuff. It is very complicated. You have, again, this first layer out here that, again, you can put things in. You can put tools, your tire gauges, you know, all kinds of stuff can go in this first layer, make it easy to get to. But then there's a second layer that you can open up, right? And again, put more things in, right? All kind of little zippered pouches for it, right? And then that's not all. There's a third layer, again with a big zippered pouch. There is a see-through map pocket that you can add to the top. And again, more places to put stuff in here. So again, a lot of places to put stuff, but again, kind of a complicated bag, and it's going to probably cause you to carry more things than you need to. I mean, you really could take this bag and you could use it as a place to put your toolkit, and rather than put it back behind you, you could put your toolkit all up here in the front. Now for me, what I want to do, again with this bike anyway, is I want to be able to carry those mid layers and things that I showed you with the other bag. And it is very difficult to do that with this bag, right? There just isn't a whole lot of room, right? You see up here, this is actually the rain cover that goes with this bag. So there's a nice stash pouch for it, but it does take up a little bit of room. So now if I want to take my down layer, right, it doesn't really fit in this bag in any of the layers. I mean, I can kind of squish it down if I really work with it, or maybe if I take it out of the pouch and I stick it in there, maybe I can get it in. But then when I try to add a second layer in there, well, it's going to be really tough to get it in. Virtually impossible, let alone add, you know, my rain cover and maybe some extra gloves or a pair of glasses, you know, that kind of stuff. So again, it makes it tough to do what I really want to do with this tank bag. Let me also turn this tank bag over and show you the bottom, that pad that's going to go up against your tank. And as I said, it has a tendency to scratch up the tank paint a little bit, especially when it gets dirty and dusty. It's not as thick as the one that comes on the Aerostich. Now, of course, you're going to be mounting this thing on adventure bikes, right? And I don't know. For me, I don't really care on my adventure bike whether it gets scratched or not. In fact, the more scratches, the better. It means I've been riding it right. So, you know, it's a big deal or not, well, I guess that depends upon you, but I just want to make you aware of it. As far as mounting goes, well, it comes with a harness that is similar to the one that I showed you on the Aerostich tank bag. And like the Aerostich bag, to mount this on most bikes, I had to come up with something custom, right? To do it on my K1600, again, I made my own little custom straps, right, that were very similar to the ones that I showed you on the Aerostich bag. Now, as far as from the factory goes, it came with a little harness like this that you're supposed to zip tie to your frame in some fashion through here, and then this would go into the buckles, right, that are on the bag. But you're very limited in sizing and placement for this, right? You're much better off, at least I think, creating your own system for your bike, again, using some kind of straps like I just showed you earlier. So next, let's look at the Fandango tank bag from Giant Loop. And I bought this when I had the WR250, and I thought I was going to do all of these backcountry discovery routes. Well, you know what happened. It turned out not to be the case. But this is still a cool tank bag, and it has a really great mounting system if your bike is set up right for it. See, the bag just zips right on to this harness, and then it can flop back when you want to fill your tank. Now, while this mounting harness is really cool, the problem is that your cap has to be in the middle of your tank, right? If your gas cap is over to the side, well, then this is going to block it. You're either going to have to move this back way far on your tank, which can interfere with you standing up, right? Or you're going to have to loosen this all up and flop it back every time that you want to fill up with gas. So again, there are pros and cons to doing this. Also, I will tell you that this harness did get a lot of dust under it and did scratch up my WR250's tank pretty good, but again, I really wasn't worried about that. Now, like the Aerostich bag, the tank bag here, the Fandango, it is a very simple bag. It just has one big open area, and then there is a little pouch here, a zippered pouch that you can put stuff in on the lid. Right. It also does come with a divider if you want to divide your area up. It also comes with this dry bag to go inside. Because Giant Loop does not claim this to be a waterproof bag, it is water resistant, but if you want it to be waterproof, you have to use this dry bag to put all of your important stuff in. Now, as far as fitting all of the things that I want to carry, again, those mid layers with me, I can take that divider out, I can get my down mid layer in there, and also my windproof, waterproof layer in. I can even get the rain cover in. I wouldn't be carrying that with this bag, but I could get it in there anyway. And then, of course, I can get my gloves in there as well. So I can carry pretty much the same thing that I do in the Aerostich bag. I just don't have much extra room at all to put in other things like glasses and so forth. So after looking at these three tank bags that I've used over the years, and after my experience from using them all, which one of these is best? Well, it really just depends upon your needs. Right? If you want a hydration bladder in your tank bag, well, then there is only one to go with. However, it also isn't going to be able to carry other things with it, right? You're giving up, right, the ability to carry big, bulky items in that tank bag, right, by putting that hydration bladder in and by having all of these different little pockets and things. It's good for carrying a lot of small things, but not for carrying big, bulky things. So for me, I've learned that simple is best. Right, a simple bag like the Fandango or something like the Aerostich Rev bag, that really works the best for me and what I want to do with the tank bag. And the Aerostich obviously holds the most of any of these three that we're looking at. So again, that is a big plus for me. And also with the Giant Loop back here, again, you have to make sure that that harness system that they have, which is really cool, is going to work with your bike. Right? If you have a gas cap that's set over to the side, it may make it more of a pain in the butt than it's worth. On this particular motorcycle, well, I think that the Rev tank bag here from Aerostich works the best. It just has the most carrying capacity. It's going to work for me in that I can carry all those mid layers here because Again, I have limited carrying capacity in the back, right? And also, this is really simple to attach to this bike. I've been able to come up with a really simple way to install it. This bag is a little more complex and unfortunately isn't going to work where the gas cap is positioned. So again, it really is up to you on what you need to do on your motorcycle, what your needs are. So, all right guys, that's it. Keep riding safe and of course, keep squeezing your lemon.